Alright, here's the GM 9.5 inch 14 bolt semi floater. I got the Yukon positive traction unit installed and the 456 gears, so I still have a little bit of work to do before I can put it in the Yukon, but getting close. And got a good pattern. It all worked out well, so I look forward to having it done at this point. Well, there it is, the GM 14 bolt semi floater, 9.5 inch rear differential in my Yukon. It's all bolted up. All I have left to do now is bleed the brakes, and this thing's ready to go. So I had to buy a combination U-joint to keep the stock drive shaft. Not a big deal. We used a bunch of those over the years. I had to buy new U-bolts because the axle tubes are longer. I mean, not longer, I'm sorry. The axle tubes are bigger in diameter than a 10 or 12 bolt axle. I actually had to use different mounting plates for the U-bolts. I'll show you those. I reused the same shocks. All the brakes are new. All the brakes are different from a 10 or 12 bolt axle. So I'll give you a couple more views here so you can see everything you need to do if you're going to do this swap on an 88 to 98 Chevy pickup or GMC or Tahoe or Yukon. Here's the massive drums, which I bought new ACDelco units. I also replaced the wheel studs. Now it has 9/16 wheel studs instead of metric. And here's a view of the U-bolt plates. I unfortunately don't know what these came off of. I got them at the junkyard because I bought two different sets a while back while I was there. And they were just laying around. People had pulled axles and left them, so I snatched them up. And I'm glad I did, because these actually were a better fit than the ones I was using before due to the wider spacing on the U-bolts. I did have to still drill them out for these 5/8 U-bolts because it was a little tight in there, but they worked and didn't cost me more than a few dollars. So I got all the factory e-brake cables hooked up. I had already installed years ago a stainless steel flex brake line from the frame rail to the axle, and I reused it here. I reused the stock brake lines from the center of the diff to the wheel cylinders. So I pretty much reused a lot of stock stuff except for all the brakes. I bought ACDelco parts pretty much. I bought Dorman wheel studs. I bought the U-bolts from Summit Racing, and I will post some part numbers in the description for you guys if you do this swap. So anyway, it's all done, just waiting to bleed the brakes, and then this thing will be back on the road and I can get back to working on the 327. So I'm excited to be done crawling into this thing. This axle was a lot heavier than the one I pulled out. It's got brand new 456 gears in it with a Yukon posi unit, so it should be good off-road. And anyway, just glad it's basically done. So I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.